Guys, welcome back to the channel. On assignment here in Iowa, and I'm just kind of going over some editing, dumping some footage. And if you are watching this episode, that means hopefully you tuned in last week. The last episode, we were in Kansas at one of my favorite places, Triple H Outfitters. Man, another crazy adventure in Kansas. Last year was the first time I ever went and hunted there. It was the first time I ever drew a turkey tag in Kansas. And it's actually the first time I ever hunted with an outfitter. All of my hunts up until this point have been DIY hunts. And I got myself kind of jammed up with that tag. And Donovan stepped up big time to the plate. And man, it was super cool to be in camp last year where the hunt only lasted, I think, 37 minutes. And then this year getting to come back. And guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but the tag was actually really hard to draw. The tag numbers continue to decline. I think that's a reflection of the population. But one thing you don't have to worry about at Triple H, they have the birds. And I was lucky enough to draw that Kansas tag. And that hunt, it definitely got Western. So my buddy Brandon is heading from Illinois into Iowa to meet up with me this afternoon. And we had, this morning I was going to hunt, but we have a big low pressure cold front moved through. It was in the 80s over the weekend, and now it's in the 60s. So I opted to stay in camp, get some work done, and then he's going to meet me in the afternoon, and then we are going to hit the farm in Iowa, and we are going to do some work on some of those big Iowa Easterns. Good morning. Rolling out of Kansas. Bittersweet as it is, we got work to do in Iowa, and that is the next stop on the tour. And I got to see, glad I got to see Donovan's mom and dad, Haley, Miss Connie, some of the best people you'll ever meet in your life, real salt of the earth kind of folk. And man, I just appreciate them. They've made me feel like family since day one. So, but yeah, Kansas tagged out, Iowa got next. Little update. I don't even know the name of this town, but I'm stopping. I've been driving for hours. I see a Burger King, so Burger King it is. I gotta be honest with you, I've eaten a lot of different places. I've traveled all over, and that was one of the best burgers I've ever had. Thank you, Burger King, in whatever town I'm in. When I get to Iowa, I've definitely got a small list of things to pick up at Walmart. I definitely want to pick up some more tick spray. I didn't encounter too many ticks in Kansas. I think mostly because I wasn't really walking in areas where there would be a lot of ticks. But there was one tick that crawled on me when I was smoking that cigar with that Kansas bird. It was a little tiny one. But I have a feeling that Iowa is going to be a totally different story. And I also want to get some borax and some pins. I'll work on my fan in the off time when I'm not hunting. So yeah, just keep on trucking. Got another hour to go. We'll be in Iowa turkey camp. Day one here in Iowa. Got Brand behind me. Just got the decoys set up. We walked across this logging road with a big deep valley, and we crow called down into it, and right away, pow! He sounded off, so he's down in that valley. So the way we like to work these turkeys, the collar is behind the decoys. Easterns, you guys might know this, but Easterns, they have a bubble. It's like a 50-yard invisible barrier, force field all the way around them, and they'll hang up. So our setup is set up to kill him in his bubble. So he comes up over the hill, sees the decoys, he hears the calling back behind it and wants to keep coming in. But that's our plan. We've got a full strut avian with a lay down hen and then a feeding hen on top of that. So Brand's just touching up the last setup, and we're gonna try and work this tom in day one here in Iowa. Let's work. This is the toughest thing about hunting like this. You're bow hunting, so you don't really have the ability to run and gun. You can do that, but I got a cameraman with me, I got Brand with me, and we got the decoy set up, and we're in kind of a three corners type of situation. There's the field goes all the way down where the birds come up, and then in front of us we've got a kind of a rise, the way they've cultivated this field, where the birds come up from another draw. So we feel like staying put is a better play because the birds can come from all directions. And as that wind lays down right before dark, that's when we start to call. And one of the things that Brandon likes to do is he likes to call from the decoy setup, not from where we're sitting, to pull those birds past us. So if that helps you kill more birds, especially with archery tackle, hopefully that helps you out. I had to put on my rain jacket. A piece of rain gear comes in handy, even though it's probably mid-60s, but that wind is really kicked up. I can feel it crawling up my backside. So you put a rain jacket on, and no, it's not the quietest thing, but it's like a wind blocker, very lightweight, packable. But with this wind blowing, they're not going to really hear me drawing anyway, so that's the plan, and we're sticking to it. Day one here in Iowa, we probably have another hour to go, and we can call this an observation sit, but with the amount of birds that are crawling all over this farm, I wouldn't count us out anyway. So just stick to our guns, or our bow, stick to our bow, and we'll get it done. Day one here in Iowa. Not much action, but that was to be expected. That big weather cold front moved in Sunday, and Sunday was 80, and today it says it was 60, but with that wind ripping, it was upwards of 30 mile an hour. It was probably down in the low 50s, maybe even high 40s. But good observation sit, found a ton of sign, gobbler tracks everywhere that are actually leading to this road system that Brandon hunted last year. And I think tomorrow morning the weather is going to be a whole 10-15 degrees warmer, and also the wind's going to lay down. So the plan is to get up early, get to that spot, set up the decoys, and we'll be rolling, and then we'll keep playing that game.
All right, guys, we are back in camp. Gav, what's happening in the kitchen, brother?
We are cooking my Kansas bird, and we found some. I was gonna go with the general, just the regular like teriyaki flavoring, but we found the General So sauce at the Wally World. So we're gonna have General So's fried Kansas turkey rice tonight for dinner.
Man, sounding good.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up.
Good morning. It is day 2 official in Iowa, and you can see it's actually got the big, well, actually it's past full moon now, but the sun's up. You're thinking, oh man, what are you guys doing? You're late. We're hunting birds that are actually coming down from the roost. They're transitioning to the field. They're coming to us. And when you're bow hunting, you guys probably know this, it's pretty tough to run a gun. There's a couple guys that do it and do it very well, but we're gonna hunt these birds in their travel pattern and try to get to them coming to the field, come to us, see our decoys, let that carbon RX-9 eat them.
Let's hit it. Also, forgot to mention that it's 38 degrees out this morning.
Yes. Okay, guys, we are set up. We're in a road intersection, and we got two different toms. We got one to the north and then one over my shoulder. They're both gobbling good, so we got a strutter decoy with a lay down hen and then a feeding hen out front. And now we're just gonna shut up and see if we can get these toms to fire off on their own, and then maybe some soft calling. Try to pull them right in and get a shot with a bow.
What's the plan?
So we made a move. We were all the way down at the beginning of this field, where with the roads, the field roads all come to a T. And we set up there, and we had two different toms. One was all the way down here at this road at the end of this field, and then the other one was way in the back. But this is a big deep valley that runs along this field. So we pulled our set, and now we're going to be set up at the end of this road here, and there is turkey tracks everywhere coming in and out. The good thing is we have two ridges on either side of us that all neck down right here. So we feel like we can call and have the decoy set up, and then we can even run the glass call all the way down this field road and pull the turkeys in. But also, if you look behind, there's tons of good roost trees right here where I think in the evening eventually they just end up here anyway. So this is probably where we're going to have the longest day of our lives. But we're going to tuck in this little group of elm trees. They're shaded. Tuck back in there, set the decoys up, and then that's bow hunting turkeys. It's more like deer hunting turkeys, but that's what you got to do with the bow. So we'll get this set up and then we'll get rolling.
Well, nothing gobbling yet, but we heard a couple times this morning. Got me behind the camera all day, freezing my toes off. No, I'm just kidding, not too bad. We're gonna probably set up here for at least, I would say, probably a couple hours. At least sit an hour before we do any more calling for sure. If anything starts working up this ridge top, might do some light scratching, but other than that, we're gonna hang tight. These Easterns, they're kind of tight-lipped right now, but they're curious birds, so hopefully they'll loop around and come in here sooner or later.
Well, tight-lipped Iowa longbeards. All right, guys, we ran to town and grabbed a quick bite to eat, and now we're actually back at the farm, and we're checking this hay field. It's on the backside of Brand's place. And then we got the crow call. And we're just gonna try and see if we can strike one. And then we're gonna have to circle around and try and get a work gear prep. So, but yeah, this field is already looking a lot better. You know, where we were, all those crops were dried out. And just not a lot of, I mean, the sign is there, but you get into a green field like this, I'm getting hit in the head by grasshoppers. Just seems like there's a lot more for the turkeys to feed on. Well, setup number 2 here in Iowa. We are in alfalfa field. It's barely come up because it's been so dry, but it's a pinch point between two big draws on either side. So we're hoping that the birds want to come hang out here in the evening, and also make a very good morning spot because it's adjacent to those deep draws or those roost sites that are typically the birds have been in. So all we can do is chill out in back in the cedar tree, enjoy the shade, enjoy the breeze, and enjoy turkey hunting for what it is with a bow. Wrapping up day 2 here in Iowa. About 20 minutes left. Gobblers are roosted. Birds roosted. We have several toms down the valley. And then we have this one joker back behind us up by the road. The good thing is our setup is right between all of them in this pinch point on this alfalfa field. So I think the plan is we come right back here tomorrow morning. We didn't get the result we were looking for tonight, but if we were going to sit in one spot and slow play birds, this was the spot to do it because we learned a ton about what they're doing down in this valley below us. So, positive mental attitude, smart moves today, no overcalling, just being patient, and tomorrow's weather gets even better. Today was in the probably high 60s, low 70s, and tomorrow it's going to be in the 80s. So, Lord willing, get the chance to play the game one more day here in Iowa. Brandon had that Subway sandwich this morning. Subway called, and they want it back. So he had to run off to do some business. And while he's doing his business, I know I'm not sharing too much information, but I just looked at my GPS for home, and I've got a 7.5-hour drive home. I mean, it's the last day here in Iowa. Let's stick it out as long as I can, but I think that's some of the reality that I don't think it's shared very often. YouTube hunting or TV hunting is when you're just a regular guy like me. The travel piece of it you have to take into account because I haven't seen my family since last Thursday. So I'm definitely wanting to get home and see Sarah and the kids. And I gotta work tomorrow, so. But yeah, just something that kind of just hits you when you're sitting here waiting on a turkey. You know, me and Brandon have gone back and forth, whether or not we should go for broke and try and run and gun them down in this hellhole of valley below us. But with the bow, it's just so tough. So, if I was smart, I should have channeled my inner Jordan Barnes close proximity. If you don't follow him, he's got an amazing YouTube channel. He running guns with the bow. Should have gone to Hobby Lobby and doctored this thing up with a bunch of leaves and stuff and got crazy with it. But you know, we are in a good spot. They were all around us this morning, and we have continued to call to let them know, hey, we're still up here. We still want to party. And hopefully, as the morning burns off and the hens break off and go back to their nests or try to lay eggs, and the toms really start cruising around, and we just need one sad daddy Iowa longbeard. So patience is the name of the game this morning on the last day here in Iowa. Well, Iowa, thank you very much for a very exciting new adventure, and just kind of hoping I get to draw that tag again. Both me and Brandon have about 6.5, 7 hour drive home, and he lives 2 hours away from where I do. So yeah, you know, we could have hunted all day, and I think I told you earlier in the video, that's kind of the reality of DIY hunting that nobody really talks about. But definitely we're both eager to get home and get home to our lovely and supporting wives. And you know, having realistic expectations on an out-of-state adventure, on any adventure, keep them low, keep them realistic. You're hunting wild animals, and I'm doing it with a bow. So yeah, but Iowa, special place, and I will be back. And man, we're just getting cranking on turkey season, so thanks for supporting the channel. I really appreciate all the likes, comments, and shares. And we'll catch you in the next adventure.